Okay, so for those who know me, probably know how much I love speaking about my ex. So I thought this was perfect. I've got 10 minutes. I'm gonna have to cramp it in. And then I was like, I'm gonna call it How to Lose a Girl in 6 Months. I'm so glad I decided against it. So I just don't want to put you through that, and my friends are probably rolling their eyes as we speak. So I thought about a different topic that I have an affinity towards and that I can still kind of mention her in, and that cute little laughter. And I thought, let me talk about a topic that I love talking about that's very close to me as well. And I came up with a topic, love versus fear. So this is probably still a weird one coming from me. I think everyone probably thought I was going to speak about the art of jolling or festivals. But I mean, if you look at my Instagram, I have a photo of me with like a beer, with a completely unrelated caption saying, "We're all starving for human connection." So I can be deep. Back to the topic. So people often think that the opposite of love is hate. But in fact, it's actually fear. And we have two primal emotions, and these are love and fear, and they can't exist at the same time. So the same way that light removes darkness, love removes fear. So I'm going to explain this quickly. Just bear in mind, brief, keyword brief. Not really good at this. So the fear starts in the amygdala. Everyone with me? Okay. But, however, we have a natural modulator of the hyperactive amygdala, and this is called oxytocin. And this is released when there's any sort of loving gesture like eye contact, holding hands, and also it reduces stress and anxiety. So basically, the love molecule, it stops the response of the amygdala. So basically what I'm actually trying to say is that love drives out fear. And I know Charlotte's watching, and she's probably not impressed, but I'm sure she gets it. So I'd like to ask a question. Who here has had a day without one decision, without making one single choice? Okay, that's exactly what I wanted. So me personally, being such an indecisive person, I have to choose 3 different outfits before I leave the house, and best believe I'm choosing between a cream and a beige beanie. So, but when I seriously had to think about this, I thought about how fear has actually had so much power over the decisions I make, and it's actually hindered my passion. And I don't get what I want to do because of this fear, and it all comes down to not being good enough, the fear of not being good enough. So I'll use a small example of DJing. So I started DJing, and I was like, people were like, "Oh, you're going to play in front of people?" I said, "Oh, no. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to play in my home. It's my own hobby." Meanwhile, I've got these big dreams. I just want to play. But it's like this fear of not being good enough, and I don't want to let people know that. And that's just a small example, but I think with many of us, I think life would be so different if we didn't have that fear. So my next biggest fear was coming out. This one was quite a big one for me. For a long time in my life, I'd always known that I was gay, and it was very difficult because in high school it was always seen as a rumor. It was never seen as something. It was always just had a negative connotation, and it always made me feel different, and I was like, how are people going to accept me? And it basically led to like the fear of disgust, humiliation, judgment, rejection, and disappointment. And I finally got to a point where I started feeling comfortable within myself, and that comfort turned into love. And I love this part of me. I love that it's who I am. And through that, I was like, it doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks. Because if I'm comfortable within myself, and I am happy with that part of myself, and I love it, then their reactions don't matter to me at all. And this was like 2 years ago, and I actually came out to my parents last week. And this was one of the scariest things I've ever done. They're actually here right now. And I'd always built up this idea in my head that it was just going to be this disgust and this, they're not going to love me, they're not going to accept me, and it's obviously not what they wanted. And I just got to a point where I was like, I love myself, and whatever happens, it doesn't really matter. And to my surprise and utter joy, I couldn't have asked for anything more beautiful than their response. So a shout out to Mom and Dad for loving me unconditionally, and I'm so grateful. I couldn't have asked for more, and Mom also, please don't cry, I'm on camera and I don't feel like crying. So we're back here. I kind of regret putting this in because I thought that was kind of powerful, and now we're back at square one. But what I did learn about this, why I wanted to put it in, is because when I actually put into context the love and fear and as to why I can't seem to let go of my ex, I just thought, I'm actually not holding on because of love. I'm holding on because of fear, and this fear of letting go of a love that I don't believe that I'll find again. And it was just really interesting for me to realize that. And I think another part was that I relied on her to love me because I couldn't love myself. So when she left, so did the love, and I was like, oh, yeah, there's no love here. So that was quite a big lesson, and I just wanted to mention that because if I loved myself enough, I wouldn't need to seek it in other people. But I'm not going to end on such a somber note. So just on how to live out of love and not out of fear. So a lot of fear comes from childhood trauma and childhood pain. And although it's I'm not saying like just throw it away, just push it to the side, forget about it, it's in the past. But at some point, I think it's so beneficial to have the courage to be able to work through that and to work through the childhood trauma and the pain so that you can start to release the fear and you can actually open up space for genuine loving. And it's very challenging, but I mean, it's doable. And then I bring it back to self-love. I'm not going to speak about how to get there. There's lots of books, Google, look it up. But if you truly love yourself, and you will truly, truly believe that you're worthy of healing, and you'll just believe that you need to live this life and you deserve happiness. And yeah, as you can see, I'm still on the journey of self-love, and I believe I've come a long way, and I know I've still got a long way to go. But I just want to leave you with one question, and it's, if you could remove all your fears, every single one of your fears, how different would your life be? Thank you.